Hi everyone, welcome back to another Splatfest video. This will be my fourth one. It's actually Autobots versus Decepticons. I was about to say Predacons because I'm much more of a fan of the Beast Wars series. Or was it Beast Machines? No, I think it was Beast Wars. Beast Machines was the crappy sequel or something. Anyway, some ground rules I have to put. This video will definitely not be as long as the previous ones because when I was trying to upload the third compilation of the Splatfest, I ended up having to upload it multiple times. I think it was 4 times overall. And that jacked up my internet bill. So unfortunately, this compilation is going to have a few different things going on about it. But first, let's actually see what the stage rotation is now. Also, I'm a bit sick. That's another reason. And on your tentacles. Are you Team Autobots or Team Decepticons? Head over to the pledge box and pick a side. Let's unveil the current Splatfest battle stages. Port Mackerel. Haven't we done this before? Salt spray rig. We had that last time too, I think. And Flounder Hates. That's a new stage. I was kind of hoping for a row 1 mall. Well, I guess it's not a bad thing if I choose a charger, but I think I'll actually choose something other than a charger this time. Mix it up a bit, you know? Anyway, as some of you may have noticed, I don't actually have my Splatfest shirt just yet. I actually wanted to gauge which team was going to be most popular when the Splatfest started. And I think we can see which team is more popular right now. Yeah, it's almost all red. Not nearly as bad as it was with hot dogs versus marshmallow or marshmallow versus hot dogs or something, but yeah. Anyway, I don't actually care all that much about winning Splatfest or anything. I think I'm just going to stick to getting up to the Queen rank to get my 18 sea snails or sea those stages that you win. Anyway, when you have enjoyed a team, you can't actually choose Splatfest battle. Just wanted to show that for once. Okay, Spike. I actually have an order out of Spike. I wanted not to do that. Okay. Give me the best you can do. Really? That's it? Nah. See, the one I wanted, I'm gonna go up to another squid and show what I wanted. If that'll work. I know, open orders. You guys see those pieces of equipment? That'll be really, really nice to have that, huh? Really, really nice. Especially for a charger. Okay. Now I gotta check a Booyah base for new equipment in case there's any. I'm still missing a few pieces. Very, very rare pieces that are kind of hard to discern whether or not you have them. It's too bad they only sell 6 at a time every day. See, every Splatfest, I always have to buy a new shirt. It's crazy. Thought change impossible during the Splatfest. And there were new weapons that were given to us yesterday. It was the L3D nozzle nose, something like that. Yeah, L3 nozzle nose D. And the bamboozler. I tried the bamboozler. It's not my type of weapon. It's probably, from what I see, it's probably the worst type of charger, quote unquote. But I could be wrong. Yeah, see, now it's more even. Now there's actually just as much red as much purple. In fact, there seems to be a bit more purple. I think I'll still choose Decepticons though, because yes. Come on. That way I don't mind if I lose. It's forcing me to equip it now. Yep. I'm also going to change my shoes because I don't really like them. No, I can't change. Which shoes should I choose anyway? I guess the black trainers kind of work. This is kind of a nice shade of purple that I have on my character right now. And I think that's mostly it. Yeah, so I'm gonna explain how this can happen. I'm not gonna be doing live commentary this time. I'm gonna be doing like just playing the whole Splatfest thing, recording every match, and I'll compile the 5 or 10 best full matches and do post commentary on them, because I really don't want this compilation to be very long this time, and some people prefer full matches, because I'm definitely going to be doing a compilation for the. This is why Splatoon has no voice chat type of compilation, and it's only going to be short moments. But for this, it's going to be full matches. I think that's how it's going to be from now on. And I'm going to make sure that it's going to be less than half an hour long, roughly, from now on. Anyway, is that it? Is that all I had to say? Not sure. Oh, by the way, I have a friend request. I wonder how many. Let's check it out. 69. Well, it says 31, but that's 31 new friend requests, 69 complete ones. So, if I were to remove half my friend list, I still won't be able to accept all these friend requests. I don't know what happened. Ever since I made that video about how I received another friend request and I was over 100 friend requests, or friends, I can no longer accept it. And then all of a sudden everyone's sending me friend requests. I'm not positive why. I want to say it's partly because my avatar is now by Splatoon girl. Maybe people are more likely to try to get you friend request or send you a friend request if your character looks like a girl or something. I don't know. I'm just popular for some reason. Whatever the case, I can't accept a single one of those friend requests. I don't even reject them because I don't feel like it. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna stop my live commentary right now because I'm still kind of sick. My nose is really stuffy. And I'm gonna be doing post commentary for maybe later today if this doesn't last as long. And I'm probably only gonna play until I'm a queen because I'm kind of busy this weekend. Anyway, see you all for full matches. Bye bye. Alright everyone, for the first match here, I actually am using the Octo brush because I just felt like it. Initially, I start inking the place over, and one of my allies has not picked up a controller, annoyingly enough. So for the beginning of this match, it's actually 3 against 4. I normally don't head towards the southern portion of this map, but in this case, I just felt like it. And I easily ambushed these 2 players because they're not very good. For this match, I should point out that my opponents are not very good. But again, it's 3 against 4 for the first minute or so of this match, so it kind of evens out a bit, I suppose. Anyway, I made good use of the Octo brush's ability to hit opponents hard, and here I go back to my squid beacon because someone was breaking it, and I noticed that on my minimap. That's a trap you can use to set it. That's a trap you can do using that kind of sub-weapon. Yandere, isn't that one of my isn't that one of the people on my friend list? I think she is. Anyway, I go back because I want a revenge kill, but I screwed up initially. I do manage to splatter, but she had a friend hiding, so I get splattered again because of my greenness. Anyway, I super jump back over here and start setting up squid beacons all over the place because that's something you can do with the Octo brush. Actually, there's something that I've been kind of wondering about. The Octo brush has the same sub and special as the Kraken Splat Roller, which kind of makes me wonder if the Octo brush has any real use. It seems the only real purpose of the Octo brush is that it has it has an easier time inking places around it, and it has a bit more reach, I think. Maybe. In a way, I get really lucky here and get my special just in time to protect myself from these opponents and splat them all at once. Although some of them are lagging, as some of you may have noticed. Anyway, after cleaning the mess they made, I go back to set up the squid beacons again, which I don't feel there was any real point to it, but I did it anyway. And here I get really dumb and just put the squid beacon again after it broke because of the ink strike, because I have a no CD like that. And then my allies are booyahing over there, probably because they successfully repelled some foes, maybe? I'm not sure. It didn't really concern me because I was too busy doing the squid beacon thing. You know, I refill my special meter, and because of that, I get another double kill. So overall, I got really lucky in this match, thanks to incompetent foes and me probably using the Octobrush. But it was still kind of a close match, concerning how well I was playing. Yeah, I was pretty much carrying the whole team though. Alright, for this next match, we're going to be doing it on Flounder Heights, or Heights. I always say that word wrong for some reason. I don't know if when I actually managed to say it right. It's the accent speaking, sorry about that. Anyway, I go to the east portion of this map initially because I rarely see players cover this ground right here. I've had entire matches where no one covered it, which really bothers me. And also because I can easily sneak in into the center from an ambush spot right here. I failed to capitalize on it in this game though, even though that roller was right there. I really should have been able to hit him. For a charger, you probably want to stick around in the center because there's lots of vantage points for you to take out opponents from. But it's very easy to forget about covering your own base or the enemy's base or something, so don't stick around in one spot too long. Also, as some of you may have noticed right there, I'm actually using the custom variant of the E-liter. I get ambushed right here because of my incompetence and not doing a 360 no scope when I really should have. Although, but then again, that player had a bubbler ready, so I probably would not have been able to splat him anyway. But sometimes maybe just triggering the bubbler of the opponent is something good. Anyway, I easily take out Joey right here, but I missed that Splatshot Jr. unfortunately. It's kind of difficult to aim. I managed to catch Alex over there, but not the other player. I think it was Alex the actual Splatshot Jr. Hold on, let me check. Yes, he was. Alex was the Splatshot Jr. and I just caught him right there. But by checking, actually what I did is I just went back on the footage and checked. So I caught Splatshot Jr. as revenge. I go back to the center, I start covering the base. And this isn't too difficult because they have a level 11 player. That's him right here, Joey. Level 11 players, they always tend to pick the Crack-On Splat Roller as their weapon of choice because it's so easy to use and kind of powerful. And that roller right there tried to splat me but missed me, fortunately. Here I have a close encounter with Alex yet again. Close encounters with a shooter while you're using the charger tends to end badly for the charger because it's hard to aim at someone when you're up right in front of them. Chargers were not made for up-close encounters. That's why you have the Kraken or the burst bombs, depending on which E-liter you're using or which charger you're using. Although I guess splat bombs are not that great when you're using the basic chargers, the splat chargers rather. Not to mention you don't always have your special or sub ready. That's actually one of the problems that's one of the reasons why I picked the custom E-liter actually. I was relying too much on burst bombs with the basic E-liter, which is why I decided to like pick this because squid weekends are completely useless and they forced me to aim when I'm up close to my opponents. Either that or just keep my Kraken ready for them. Anyway, yeah, pretty even match for the first half, but after a while the level 11 players' incompetence caught up with them. I still thought I was very entertained, though. Yeah, John, not Joey. Sorry about that. Alright, so same map, same strategy as before, and same weapon. Basically, in this map, the difference is that I'll be spending most of my match actually just sticking on the ambush spot, because that's where I'll be able to capitalize on many opponents trying to enter the center from, because that's what they can do, and they don't eventually, well, they'll eventually figure it out how to bypass me, but that's mostly because of my own mistake. Also, I get a bit of help. That helps a lot too. Two people trying to ambush, that's great. Managed to catch an opponent right here at the beginning. Dragon, he's probably gonna grow a grudge against me, if I may be honest. Also, you can put a squid beacon on top of this thing. Kind of neat. Yeah, you have to be a bit specific on where you're positioned, however, because otherwise they won't let you put it down. Anyway, right here, Here I catch a lot of opponents. Just standing there unwarily. Also the Kraken helps. They all tried to come up from here, but they all failed. Yeah, I keep saying it, but this is an excellent spot to ambush your opponents from, or even just keep them shut out inside their base. But it does not cover the left side, so that's something to consider. I've actually did have a match where an opponent was just sticking to the... Well, not that they were just sticking. They decided to get smart and use their left portion of the map to... Well, I keep saying left, but it's actually the right side. It's like camera left, is what I mean to say. They used that to bypass our offense, and because of that, they inked over our entire side, and only in the last seconds did we notice that. And because of that, I'm not sure if we lost or almost lost, but it was close. That's what's considered. Anyway, I finally catch Dragon right here. He's stuck around behind that blockade, and because of that, he was kind of a pest for quite a while. And here, I caught some opponents, but I got greedy trying to catch that one right there. And because of that, I get splatted. And also because of that, our opponents managed to... They start to push us back now. And Dragon had a Jet Squelcher. Okay, Jet Squelchers, they kind of counter Chargers when they are at the ideal spot. And here I got unlucky, really. I jumped back to my Squid Beacon, but an Ink Strike with some hits on me meant I actually got splatted again. And my allies made a good job containing the opponents here, but eventually they managed to bypass lots of our defenses. Because they started getting their specials. And I didn't get my... I wasn't in my ambush spot anymore. It also doesn't help that it's really hard to hit opponents from where I'm standing right now. We made do with what we had though, but it wasn't... The end result was not as dominating as it was in the beginning. Like, you guys see that? A few more seconds that they could have like completely pushed us back. But in the end, we still ended up winning. And I got 11 splats. Jeez. Flounder Heights again? Yes, it is. This will be the last time, though, and the reason why I'm showing this map for a third time is because I thought this round was really interesting, but not very action-packed, I will admit. Anyway, I start again, like the same time as before, and with the same strategy, just going to this side because my allies tend to forget to cover this area, but they actually forgot just a bit more than that too, which is kind of unfortunate. That'll be for later though. Anyway, back up here, I tried to get that paintbrush user, but I missed, unfortunately. And I don't really show it ever, but it's very easy to slide off the ledge right back there. If you fall off, you're dead. you explode or you disintegrate. Or you land on the ground and get fall damage, I guess. Anyway, Drew PD here, couldn't stand up to my Kraken. Go back here, and I take an aggressive approach, just going right here and splatting the opponents from right there. That's not a good idea, to be honest, but... Well, I tried it anyway. I hit the roller right there, but I didn't quite splat him, so unfortunately, that idea had to be thrown out the window really, really quickly. And yet, I go back and try it again. Really not a good idea to do this, but I was still testing out different strategies for this map. And catching the ink brush user when they're either just like going around with their ink brush or squid forming and swimming their own ink is really, really difficult. So there's a reason why I got splatted easily by that dual squelcher. Anyway, this is the spot right here that my opponents, or my allies rather, forgot to ink over. And I thought the ink brush user was gone, but he was actually just hiding right there. Unfortunately, I missed him. So I ascend up to here, but that's a bad idea, just because that ink brush user is right there. And I don't do anything stupid. I actually take a step back and take my time trying to splat him. But unfortunately, one of my allies took care of him for me. So I'm trying to find my place in this map, trying to figure out what to do. Eventually, I picked this spot right here, and you can fire ink onto the enemy side right there. That's not a bad idea, because just as my own allies forget to ink over that spot, the opponents will also forget to do that. I try to catch the roller, but unfortunately I miss him. I catch the sprayer though, who thought he could deflect me the entire time. It is possible though for a sprayer to completely defect a Kraken for a long time. In that case, you probably want to like go to the sides to avoid that. I think that was that sprayer again, so the roller getting revenge on him was not a bad thing. And once again, I tried this idea. It actually worked out for the end there, but that was not something I was supposed to do because we were actually almost on the verge of losing right here. I quickly ink over as much as I can, and it probably helped, but overall, I probably should have stuck to the center because this was close. Less than 3% difference in results. That's very, very close. So I guess this video is to show that you should not do this as a charger. Yeah. Okay, time for a change of venue. Port Mackerel with the custom E-liter. This is definitely not a map that favors chargers. I've said this before and I'll say it again. So that's why I probably employed a completely different strategy of how to play when I tried this map with the E-liter. Initially I covered the left segment because players sure love to forget about covering this. This is definitely not something the custom E-liter should be doing, but I manage anyway. I don't set any squid beacons because setting a squid beacon up on our side that early in the game is kind of like a signal that you're not very confident that you're going to do well. It's not that bad an idea, but I kind of wanted to be a bit more aggressive. I had confidence in my team that we would not let the opponents breach through very early on. And yet they did anyway. I got really lucky with my shot right here, getting John, because I was not expecting to hit him. I was just trying to ink over the place. I scare off that player right there and I hit the squid beacon because I don't like it. And I turn back and keep covering this place because Mudkip Tube is not that great. Our weakest link. Not that bad of a player, but I don't have confidence that he or she can keep the opponents from breaching. I get lucky with hitting John again right there. I don't know why. John was not lucky at all. And here I took my time hitting Pedro H because I was out of ink and I had to make my shot count. And I was aiming down, and aiming down with a charger, not a pleasant business ever. So this is actually probably an optimal spot here that I should have abused more, but it doesn't stick. Eventually I get another idea of what to do. I think the turning point is right here. I try to splat this foe that's coming over right here, and then I start getting hit from behind. So I go cover myself here, and I decide, you know what? Let's go inside the enemy base. My Kraken's almost ready. I could decide to take the risk because that's what the Kraken's for. Aim backwards. Actually, I try to cover most of the base right here, but then an opponent starts respawning, so I go over here. And John is really not that smart. Getting splatted a third time by me. So basically, one of the things you can do when you're inside the enemy base right here, you can pretend you're staking on one side, the side you decide to like sneak through, and go back to here and switch sides. Many opponents don't ever get the idea that you switch sides, and because of that, you get to like stick around inside the base for pretty much the entire match. And if the opponents were smart enough to think or to realize what you did, they'll still be at a disadvantage trying to like catch you. And I got really lucky catching Pearl 5 right there. Unfortunately, I didn't hit him or her in time to stop the ink missile. It's too bad too. Splat an opponent that's in the middle of using the ink missile before they use it is quite satisfying. Anyway, I could have, if my allies were not that great, we could have lost this, but fortunately they were adept at keeping the enemy from breaching through. At least completely. So we managed to win. Quite easily as well. Didn't perform particularly well, but I think my strategy, showing what you can do with the E-liter here, was not a bad thing. So Port Mackerel again, this time with the Octo Rush. This is because in the last match I said it wasn't that bad to show that the E-liter, the custom E-liter, could do that kind of strategy, but here with the Octo Rush, I show which weapon you should actually be using when you want to do that kind of strategy, to stay inside the enemy base, making a mess of things. It's definitely a solo job, and it's definitely something that should be done with the brushes. Brushes aren't that bad on Port Mackerel. Probably one of the maps that are more suited for them, to be honest. Anyway, once I have my Kraken ready, I start heading towards the enemy base, or the enemy side anyway. I get lucky with my Kraken activation here, and there's a bit of lag going on, which is why opponents take a bit longer to splat than usual. I managed to splat 3 foes with good thing too. There's the 4th one right there trying to splat me, but fortunately he misses me. But I get greedy here trying to splat him, and because of that I get splatted for my trouble. Too bad too, because it would have been an extreme push on our side if I had managed to splat him and just super jump an opponent. Anyway, going back into the action here, I good on this thing, but because I wanted to set a squid beacon up there, but I missed my chance, so I just slowly make my way back into the enemy territory here, cleaning up the messes, or rather just putting my ink all over the place. And right here, this is where I make my position known to the opponents, making them think I'm over here, and I catch a ink missile user right there. I always love when I do that. And this is why. See how fast I'm going into the enemy territory here? The enemy doesn't have the chance to catch you, and here I catch someone who thought he was going to get me, but no, I know that sometimes the rollers like to follow my footsteps, quote unquote, trying to clean up the mess I make, but no. It's a perfect type of ambush to just wait for them to get to your spot and just catch them by surprise. Anyway, I keep jumping and switching sides every now and then just to keep confusing my opponents, because they don't know where I am, because they didn't have the echolocator on their team, or at least I think they didn't. I think the custom dual squelcher should have had it. Not sure. Anyway, yeah, switching back and forth, continuously putting our color all over the place, and my allies are doing a good job of continuously repelling the foes as well. That's a good thing too. I think some of them were just sneaking by as well, though. That's part of the problem, or part of the good thing, I guess. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot easier to do the whole sticking around in the enemy base thing when you're using the ink brush or the Octo brush. Because, mostly with the Octo brush, but I think with the ink brush it's also useful because it makes you go fast into the enemy base. You just have to make sure the enemy's not there for a few seconds. I could have splatted the foe back there like 10 seconds ago, but I didn't want to risk the chance of getting splatted at the very end. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much a hectic, action-packed match. Well, sort of kind of action-packed. Just to show that the Octobrush does the strategy that I showed with the E-liter, the custom E-liter, much better. Wasn't the highest scoring Inkling there, but I did score over 1100 points. And that's pretty much it for the Splatfest. These are the 6 best matches I mustered up over when I was playing. I played for like 3 hours, I think. I had a pretty good consecutive streak for a while. I think I had like 25 matches in a row, something like that. So, partly because the Autobots weren't that great, though. Autobots was more popular, and they had more children playing on their team. So, it ended up with lots of games where it would be like 3 or rather 4 level 30-ish players versus, in some cases, a bunch of sub-level 20 players. Yeah. So, really, I don't want to brag too much about having so many consecutive wins, because the Decepticons have most of the better players this time around. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video and hope you all have a nice day. I think it's going to be like this for a Splatfest every now and then now. I'm going to show 5-6 matches, full matches, and I'll leave it as is. I'll leave all the little moments for the compilations. You know the ones. Bye-bye!